Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 577 for July 17th, 2024. And how's it going, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the Ham Nation here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. We're headed into the dog days of summer, just about. It feels very hot around where I'm at, but let's see how it's going with the hosts that are here this week. And hey, everybody, Randy's back. How you doing, Randy?
Oh, doing good here in the southern Oregon coast where it's 66 degrees out.
Oh,
so
man.
Loving it.
66 degrees? That's wonderful. Great. Well, I love that. But how you been? How you been otherwise?
Been doing good. So it's good to be back on.
Glad to hear it. Next to him is Gordo. How you doing, Gordo?
I am just fine. All is well.
Excellent. He'll be talking about Zion Hamcon. Is it Hamcon or what? Is that the right?
Hamcon. That's it.
Okay.
Hamcon Zion. That's it.
He was there, boots on the ground. Don, how you been?
I'm good. We had rain today. It is 76 degrees. Normally it's 86 degrees this time of day, and it's 92 in here. Mm-hmm. But it's only 82 in this studio, so it's I'm feeling rather chilly tonight. Speaking of the dog days of summer, a little preview of from in about a month or so is actually when the dog days of summer is. There's a special event that's around dog rescue that's going to be going on, and we're going to have not next week, but the week after. We're going to have Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, from Newsline to talk about this special event that she's going to be participating in. Something about dog rescue in the dog days of summer. When you said that, it just kind of clicked into my head. But tonight, we've got the 2024 Young Ham of the Year, Grace Pape, K8LG. We're going to meet her tonight. And then, of course, we're going to meet her in person at the Huntsville Hamfest coming up August 17th, Josh.
Wonderful. Well, I'll be there as well, so we hope to see you in Huntsville. Amanda, how you been? You're looking lovely with your Team USA shirt on. What's that all about?
Team USA, yes. The Olympics start next Friday. I'm so excited. I love the Olympics. Bob Heil and Sarah Heil also love the Olympics. I know Sarah is going to be watching the opening, and it's always a great time, and it's a way for us to all unify. We need that this week, by the way, so I will take it. So go USA. I love the gymnastics and swimming and everything there is with it. Anyhow, I also had a great time camping over the 4th, and Jeff and I had a fun time doing the POTA. I was really excited. I was really pumped that people wanted to put us in the logs, and we already gotten some QSL cards, so pretty excited about that. One more thing before I let everyone take their turns in their segments here. I just want to show off our cool-ass Ham Nation decals that we're going to be.
Let's get you. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
They're about 2x4, so you can put them on your water bottles, and they're going to be passing those out in Huntsville. So you're going to have to hit up Don or Josh there and be extra kind and send me selfies.
Very good.
I will not be there. So anyhow, I'll be following chat. I'll be making lots of comments tonight. I do have a Ham It or Can It, but it's kind of from 2 weeks ago when I didn't show it, so some things are a little outdated, but we'll go along with it. Anyhow, let's see. Let's hear from you, Gordo. How was Zion?
All is well, and I'm just back from the Rocky Mountain Convention in St. George, Utah. And wow, what a job they did to pull that off. First of all, they were battling some pretty warm temperatures outside last weekend, 118 degrees. Gary and Debbie and I got out of the unit and went, oh my goodness. But what we found was a convention center in St. George, Utah that was amazing. It was huge. It was air conditioned, and they had the swap meet inside that convention center, and they had a handful of great exhibitors that were right next to the great swap meet. And Icom America was there at Hamcon Zion, and they're unique in that they have a fold-out booth that really looks spectacular with all of their gear light. And Buddy Pole. Well, Buddy Pole is now the Buddy Hex, and it's brand new for Buddy Pole. They had one outside that survived all the wind that we had the next day, and Buddy Pole also had their new Power Mini Station, the Buddy Stick Pro. So for those of you that are POTA you're going to find that Buddy Pole is right there with you. Also, the RV Radio Network had a lot of RVers there, and they were tuned up and turned on, ready to see the latest. 12-volt power, that's Kevin Karamanos. And that used to be an alternate company that is still in business, but now Kevin is branched out and he's taken on Comet antennas and also Daiwa. So some neat things coming from 12-volt power. And of course, every one of you have been to a convention, have seen Roger, and Roger was there with Wired Co. And Kim, his lovely wife, was there, and they have more gadgets. That's why you all got to go to a Hamfest. And beside all of the activity on Friday, Saturday was a good day, and Saturday night was a big banquet. And right in the middle of the banquet, we were going to have a Tesla coil, Mama big coil demonstration. And the power went out for not just our facility, but for half the city of St. George due to huge winds that blew down some power lines. So we never saw the Tesla, but in the very hot weather, we did see a lot of sparks. So that was the great Hamcon Zion. And the Rocky Mountain Convention drew also beside Icom and Buddy Pole and 12-volt and Wired Co. with their big booths, the Off-Grid Gear Group, Northern Arizona DX Association, and Gary Johnson was doing a lot of demonstrations, and maybe we can see just a snippet of some of these great demos that Gary and Debbie were put on, and that was part of our ARRL instructor program. And let me tell you about the league. Their section managers turned out in force, along with a director. The section managers were so vital to keeping everybody informed as to what's going on with the league and all of the new programs. And Gary and Debbie and I, we had some great demonstrations of some of the new tools that those interested in teaching a ham radio class can adopt. Well, it's Huntsville is sure coming up. There's a new one back again. This is probably first to be announced. The Yuma Hamfest, on pause for a couple of years, is coming back in February 21 and 22, a few weeks after Quartz Fest that I'll be at along with Yuma, and of course PacificCon this fall. So we've got a lot of Hamfests, and we encourage all of you to take in a Hamfest and enjoy all that the manufacturers and the swap meet dealers have for excitement. So that's my report from Hamcon Zion, St. George. Thumbs up for a great effort to pull in some very knowledgeable hams to learn more about all they do in Utah, Arizona, Nevada for linking repeaters. It was great. Back to you, Amanda.
Well, thank you. And the YLRL had their convention there as well. So unfortunately, I couldn't join in on any of their activities, but it looked like, according to their Facebook page, that the ladies had a wonderful time as well and very successful.
Yeah, so. And Diane, all the DO, all the way from Long Island came out as well. And Debbie is one of the officials with the YLRL, and she was real busy with all the ladies, and they had things humming right there at the convention.
They certainly did. They even managed to have their board meeting and everything, took care of everything.
And all of the seminars. We heard some seminars that were just extraordinary, and all of these seminars well narrated by experts in their field.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Gordo. Thanks for representing there. Appreciate it. I'm glad you had a good time. And you're still here. You didn't melt away. So,
I do have a quick one. Since Gordo did provide that video, and I want to give him some credit, Tank Radio was actually out there as well, and he had that wonderful video, and there's some audio in the background. I didn't want to lose it. So link is in the description. Go watch all of Tank's video, but really quick, I just want to show the opening here, and you can see what kind of setup they had.
Our with Gary, and what's your call sign?
I'm A.
Yep, there's Gary.
And you are here
he
with
is
the
one of our
ARRL or
lead
helping out with the
instructors
We're working
that
with
is helping
Gordon West
teach
over
other
here,
folks.
and
And
with
as
the
you can
instructor
see,
program
while the cement
the
floor was a
ARRL,
hard floor, the
and we're
crowd
looking
was
to
on
get,
Friday
more-
just enormous to take in all of his great demonstrations with Debbie, his lovely wife, and they celebrated, catch this, 50 years of being married. So
Wow.
Gary, thank you and Debbie for making this a noteworthy ham fest.
Yeah, very, very cool. Thanks. Thank you, Tank Radio, for being boots on the ground. They're doing some recordings. He's got a couple of videos. Go check him out. There was a number of YouTubers that were out there. So, yeah, thanks for linking me to that, Gordo. But, okay, there you go, Amanda. Sorry for jumping in there.
That's fine. All right, well, we're going to have Randy tell us what he's been up to. And, in fact, he's going to teach us about a new way of operating FT8. So, Randy, tell us how you've been this summer. Take it away.
Well, I've been having a great time. I went up and spent field day with the Hoodview Amateur Radio Club outside of Portland, and went up to Larch Mountain. I was joined with George, KJ6VU from the Ham Radio Workbench podcast, and they put up 2 Buddy Hex antennas. I just got them like 2 days before field day, and they worked great. So I have a video about the Buddy Hexes. There's another video about the communications trailers, and then just a general field day video there. And also Gordo was talking about the Hamfest, so I've loaded up my calendar. So it'll be Pacificon, Quartz Fest, Visalia, and Dayton are the ones I know of that are coming up here for my travel plans for 24/25.
Oh, wow.
So I want to talk a little bit about this new variant on FT8. Let me get my screen here sharing. And I think that should do it. Yeah, is that working? Okay. So just this week, the new Super Fox Hound mode started being used with FT8. So what this is, it makes it easier. I've got a mouse over here. It makes it easier for the DX stations to work a lot of us. So the DX station is the Fox, and we're all the Hounds, and we're all going to chase them.
Now, Randy, is that your photo? Did you put that together?
No.
Okay.
Did it jump? Okay. All right. Okay. So why FT8 Fox Hound? So there's Fox Hound, which we've had for several years, and there's the new Super Fox Hound. So the problem with the DX petition is that if they use just regular FT8, it'll take 1 to 1.5 minutes to complete a contact. So this is way too slow for the DX petitions. Foxhound is a special variant of FT8 that allows the DX, the Fox station, to work up to 10 chasers or 10 hounds simultaneously. So that runs the rate up. And you will also have a much better chance. Instead of them doing one after another, now they can do several at the same time. So the trick is to get into the queue, and that's what you try to do. So you just keep calling him, and then you'll hopefully he'll come back to you. So this is what normal FT8 Fox Hound looks like. So what happens here when they go into this mode, they divide the FT8 spectrum at 1,000 hertz. So this is the audio passband for your transceiver. So the Fox is going to transmit below 1,000, and all the hounds stay up above 1,000. And you can see, I don't know if this will show up if I mouse over here. Yeah, so you can see here, it's way behind here. So you can see there's multiple streams being transmitted. So there's two at least, maybe four that are in there. So they can respond to 4 stations at the same time. So that really helps the rate. Here is the 3G0YA, the Eastern Island DXpedition. And you can see there that they were running 6 streams. And you can see it's pretty right down in the noise level. And you can see here that Here he's doing 10 responses. So he's sending a 73 to the SP3OL, and he's sending a signal report to K0 and V. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 responses back from the Fox simultaneously. And then in the next transmission, there ended up being 9. So this really helps to get the rate up for the DXpeditions. So a couple of the issues with the current Fox Hound is that the more streams they have will take and decrease the received signal strength at your station. So the more streams, the weaker it gets because the power is spread across the multiple streams. Another thing they've been having issues with is pirate stations acting as the DX. And this gets everybody wound up when they're not in the log and creates a lot of havoc. So one day I was really lucky to catch this. This is the Chad station, TT8XX. And here's 3 successive transmissions from him. So this first one, he's transmitting on 3 streams. And you can see my received signal strength is at -7 dB. Then the next transmission, he dropped to 2 streams, and you can see the signal strength increased by 5 dB at my receiver. So that's a huge increase. Imagine putting up a beam where you pick up 5 dB again. The third transmission, he went to 4 streams, and now the signal has dropped down to -10 dB. So this is something they have to kind of consider. They run less streams with more power for people to work them, but a slower rate, or they allow for multiple, more streams, but a weaker signal. So the Super Fox Hound now transmits a new 1.5 kilohertz wide bandwidth signal at full power, which they multiplex all the data to respond up to 9 hounds. So instead of the power being, or the signal strength being reduced at your home station, it's now at the maximum signal coming out of the Fox. They also have a text channel, so the Fox can provide information to all the hounds if he has some instruction or whatever. And they also now get a verification key that the Northern California DX Foundation is managing. So the Fox loads this key into their software, and when you're receiving the Fox, it'll come up and say verified. So this is to hopefully cut out the pirates, because if a pirate's running, you won't get a verification text coming back. So this is what it looks like. So the Fox transmits on the 0 and 30 time slot, and here's the wide bandwidth signal. And then the hounds on the 15 and 45 second slots will transmit their signal. So at this point, there wasn't many hounds chasing them. Otherwise this would be just loaded with people trying to get the DX station. This may be one of the first modes to take advantage of the bandwidth changes that the FCC just allowed us to do a couple months ago. So, and if the signals are kind of weak, it can be kind of hard to see all of this. But he was nice and strong here. I was able to get this screen capture. So when you go into the Fox Hound mode, your software will automatically lock it so that you transmit on the 15 and the 45 second. So here's the K8R station that's in America Samoa, which is on the air now. It wasn't very busy here when I caught this screen grab. So here's a couple stations calling him. Here he is responding to 2, and you can see this text message down here that's part of the display. It says K8R verified. So we know it's the real guy because he has the key that and that the receiving station software knows is correct.
Randy, can I interrupt for a
Sure.
second and ask about, people want more about this. What is the criteria for verification status?
There's nothing that we need to do as the receivers. It's automatically put in. So they get the key from the Northern California DX Foundation, and they're the only ones currently that are giving out the keys, and that's encrypted into the data stream, and when it's receiving, it knows how to deal with that, as far as I know, and it comes up with that verified message. So from our standpoint, the hounds, it's just automatic. It just appears there.
That's pretty flipping cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the status here at the moment, K8R, the American Samoa station, is now testing the Super Foxhound mode. So they've been on the air for 6 days. They just released a press release this morning. They've worked over 6,000 stations over the 6 days, so their rate's running pretty good. It's been, I guess, very successful, although some stations are having trouble decoding the wide bandwidth signals. So they're looking into that. But their main goal here was to test all this out before that DX team moves to Jarvis around the beginning of August. So they're getting all these bugs out. So when the big DXpedition hits, everybody's ready to run. And it also helps us as receiving stations, the hounds, get the bugs out of our system. So the future DXpeditions will be the N5J in Jarvis early next month, and then the CY9C, the St. Paul expedition, at the end of August, early September. And so these will all be using the Super Foxhound mode. And they're also operating using ribs. But you know what a rib is?
Radio in a box or something like that, right?
Radio in a box.
Yep.
You got it. So
That's a big radio in the box. If
that's a big box of radio. That's
I saw that
Go.
one in Visalia.
Yeah, that's a big go box. So what they've done here is put the whole radio station and networking in this box. So a lot of these islands, it's very hard for them to get permission to operate on these islands. And especially if you're going to take 10 or 12 people, move onto the island with all your tents and your fuel, your porta potty and all this stuff. And it's got a very large footprint then. And then everything you take has to come off the island. So the radio in a box, there can be like 2 or 3 guys go out and they set these things up. There's a Honda generator. Then they have a 900 meg IP link back to the boat, and they can operate from the boat. So basically, they only have to go out and touch the island maybe about once a day to put gas in the generators. And of course, the setup of the antennas, which are typically verticals right there in the water, and then to tear it down. So they can do that in basically hours instead of days.
Wow.
And the picture over here in the top right, you can see they have a water cooling system, because there is a 1.5 kilowatt amplifier in that box, which they have to cool. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. And they connect us with Starlink, so they can have operators running this located anywhere in the world. So the sideband guys will operate off of the ship, so they have a very low latency for the turnarounds. But the FT8 and the CW people can deal with a little bit longer latency, and they can be working, as they say, in their pajamas from home. So all the FT8, the Super Foxhound, if the guys aren't on the boat, they're sitting in front of their stations at home. They have Flex radios in here with Maestros and the Flex software and all of that stuff. So it's a pretty neat thing that's going on. So some more information about Foxhound and Super Foxhound. Rob N7QT has a video that's about 2 years old, and it really goes into a lot of the WSJT Fox Hound mode, as well as there's some other, variants on the FT8 software, talking about the multi-stream. So that's a real good video there to learn about that. He also has a lot of other hints, such as setting the clock on your computer and chasing time offsets with the DX when they're off by 2 seconds, how you can deal with that. Just a few days ago on the DX Mentor podcast and also YouTube channel, they had, I forget the fellow's name now, but he was involved a lot with the Super Fox Hound mode, worked up a lot of the specification, the definition, and all that. So there's a lot of very current information with that FT8 and FT8 Super Fox Hound video and podcast. You do need version 2.0.7 release candidate 5 to make this work. Nothing else will work with this. So I think that's all. And I'll drop the sharing. There's got to be questions.
Very interesting.
My first question for me was, you call that a boat, I called that a yacht. and if that's what they have to operate from, oh my gosh, how horrible. No, it looked really nice.
It's like they talk about sitting in the yacht with the air conditioning, a lot of times, and typically the food is prepared by one of the yacht crew members and stuff, so they eat good. So it's much nicer than sitting in a tent swatting bugs, I think.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it really kind of takes away from part of the whole hardcore de-expeditioners, though, right? Yeah. Where they went in, they had to almost prep for 6 months to kind of starve themselves and get used to eating beans and toast and that kind of thing, because that's all they could bring with them. Yeah. And now they can just do it from home. That's kind of crazy.
Well, it also allows them a better chance of being able to get permission to operate on these islands.
Sure, less damage.
That's the big thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Fish,
Josh,
wildlife, and
I'm
stuff,
sure you have questions.
Well, I of course I pulled up the WSJTX website and I wanted to know how one actually gets access to this. So installation package 261 is the standard, but if you scroll down, you'll see right here, candidate release 270 RC5, and it mentions Super Fox mode right in there. So it looks like you may have to go through a little bit more to get it going, but other than that, no, it's an installation file. It's right there, and it's available on Windows and Linux as well, and Raspberry Pi.
So, it worked, perfectly fine for me. I've received several, email messages, people having trouble getting it running. I don't know why. I'm not the support.
So this is going to be this is going to be it now for just DX, do you think, or will it be used for other things?
Well, this will go into the standard release software here, probably, when they feel it's, stable enough, and hopefully see future DXpeditions, using this.
Well, we got confirmation from my wife that we could DX on a yacht if there was also an onboard chef, she said. So if we have that covered, guys, board, huh? There you go. That's how I can get on my DX expedition. Is
quite charitable of her, isn't it?
I know, right?
That's
really,
very nice.
She really does suffer through these trips that I drag her on.
Right. It's all about that marriage vow, Josh.
That's it.
Well, thank you, Randy.
Well, this is going to give me a reason to see if I can get my 7600 to learn how to talk to my computer again. For some reason, they're having a spat. Apparently, and they're not talking to each other.
They had a breakup. They had a rough breakup done.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, so I've got this
challenge at times.
I've got that little box that has the what is it? That Innovato box that has that
little computer.
Which is running Linux. I may see if I can maybe just hook the stupid radio over to that.
You should. Linux works. We just did a live stream with Jason KM4ACK about Linux and getting started with it. He actually makes an install script that loads everything for you. You just run the script. It installs everything, and then you have to do some nominal setup, and it's phenomenal. So if you like Linux, stick to it. It's really great for ham radio right now.
Very cool.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Randy.
Well, thank you, Randy. Appreciate you coming on with that, giving us the latest and greatest, and good luck with your DXing as well. I know you're always on FT8, or no, also FT4. You brag about it. Follow Randy on X.
Oh yeah, currently my DX chase for the year, I now have 220 entities or countries.
Wow.
I've worked all 40 CQ zones. I've worked all states on both FT8 and FT4. So spending a lot of time in front of the radio.
Very good. That is awesome. All right. Well, now I think we have a word from Icom who can help us all along with that.
Fun, sun, and QSO. Wherever you go, keep the fun going with one of Icom's go-to portables or remote rigs. The IC705 and IC7300 radios both feature a large touchscreen with real-time spectrum scope and waterfall display for intuitive functions and setting operation. So kick back, enjoy the breeze, and make those QSOs with ease. The IC705 portable radio provides base station features and performance in the palm of your hand. From HF to 50, 144, or 440 megahertz, enjoy a wide variety of bands in the D-Star DV, single sideband, CW, RTTY, AM, and FM modes. This handheld also includes an RF direct sampling system, wireless LAN and Bluetooth connectivity, an internal GPS receiver, and more. The IC7300 is an industry first to use an RF direct sampling system and an entry-level HF radio. This high-performance radio includes an audio scope function, IP+, class-leading RMDR and phase noise characteristics, 15 discrete bandpass filters, and a built-in automatic antenna tuner. This compact and innovative radio will far exceed your expectations. Bring the fun wherever you are by going remote. The optional RSBA1 remote control software allows you to operate your Icom from a portable PC. For those of you with an IC7300, head on over to IcomAmerica.com and download the latest firmware to get Icom's new digital pre-distortion capabilities. This technology corrects nonlinear distortion at the final amplifier stage by applying inverse distortion at the pre-distortion section in the FPGA unit in advance. For more information about Icom's amateur radios and to locate a dealer, visit IcomAmerica.com/amateur today. For the love of ham radio.
Thank you so much to Icom for sponsoring Ham Nation here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. And every time we go live, I don't know if you knew this, hopefully you do if you've watched a couple episodes, there's a link in the video description that takes you to this lovely page here that talks about the monthly radio giveaways that they do over at Icom America. Now that's great. How do you get a radio? Well, you click Enter Now, and every time we go live with Ham Nation, we pick 3 winners for swag packs, which include things like t-shirts, tablets, pens. It's a variety. It changes, assortment of things. Those names go in the end of the month list. They pick a name out of that list, and then they win the radio. So the upcoming radio for this month, let's check it out for you guys. All right, it is the ICV 3500, and then following that, we're going to have the ICV 86 for August. So make sure you get in on that. But this week's winners for this show is Jason B, W4IRQ, Chris I, KC0WEI, and Tim C, VE3WG8. So you're getting a swag pack, and hopefully you win the end of the month radio giveaway. So thanks so much again for Icom. We really do appreciate you. And this Saturday, I'll be having Ray Novak on the show. He's got some updates for us, some things that have been going on at Icom, and we're going to hit Icom with those tough questions. Do you have tough Icom questions? Well, send them to me at josh@hamtactical.com, and I'll make sure we put the screws to Ray. I'm just kidding. We love Ray. Anyway, Don, how you been, buddy?
Ray is the man.
He is.
You cannot trip up Ray Novak. He has an answer for everything, and it's just about always right. He is just a great guy. I'm very proud to call him a friend. Well, I got a new friend, too, and her name is Grace Pape, K8LG. She lives in Michigan. She is the 2024 Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year. Hello, Grace.
Hi, John. How are you doing?
I'm better now that you're here. So let me tell the folks a little bit about you. You are 18. Your dad is Doug Pape, K8DP. Your mom is Carrie Pape, K8CLP. You earned your tech license in March of 2021. So you're still a fairly new ham. Within a year, you got your extra class in March of 2022. You went to Holland Christian School in your hometown of Holland, Michigan. You earned a varsity letter in unified sports. What is unified sports? Is that like just a little bit of everything?
Yeah, so Unified Sports is where we combine students with intellectual disabilities and without to compete together as one team. So I was able to be a partner and support other students. So I played on the soccer, basketball, and bocce teams and had a blast with that.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Now, it was another family member that got you interested in ham radio. Who was that, and tell us all about that?
Yeah, so my dad got me interested, but the reason why I got licensed was to honor my grandfather, John, Kilo 8 Yankee Sierra Echo. He was celebrating 60 years, and my dad's like, hey, why don't you just do this? And I'm like, okay. And the ham radio's my life every day now.
Very good. Now, he was a big guy in satellites, wasn't he, your grandfather?
Yeah, he was a big DXer before he got into satellites, so he has been really successful at working all the DX entities there. But he's still a big satellite operator. He was one of the first people to complete the AMSAT Gridmaster Award, which is the same as Fred Fish, but for satellite.
Okay. Wow. So is he still with us, or is he a silent key now?
Yeah, he's still with us. He's not too active due to some station difficulties, but we're currently trying to solve that.
Excellent. So tell us about some of your, in the last, 3 years now that you've been a ham or so, tell us about some of the things that you've been into, that you've gotten interested in and have had fun with.
Yeah, sure. I started in amateur radio satellites. It's something my dad had a passion about, and I wanted to make my first contact with my grandpa. So we got on satellite pass and made my first contact there. From that pass, I was able to work California, Cuba, and several other stations. So that kind of sparked my journey to keep going, that it's more than just outside of your local area. So I've been chasing grid squares, chasing DXCCs. More recently, I've been able to be dived into contesting. I've been able to be a part of the Youth DX Adventure at TIM K3LR this past year. And then I was able to operate CQ Worldwide sideband at TIMS. And then this past a few months ago, I was able to go to St. Lucia at Japan 62 Kilo to operate CQ Worldwide WPX. So contesting is a big part of my journey now, but still in love with amateur radio satellites, chasing all the grid squares. It looks like Josh pulled up my grid square map there.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I have
Wow.
I have 9 left to work on satellites. So I will do it eventually, and I'll be the 3rd generation of ham radio operators to complete it.
Wow.
That is so cool. You know, you mentioned Tim Duffy, K3LR. One of these days, if he keeps it up, he's going to have a pretty good station over there. I walked in there and I was like, oh my God, this is the candy store, the absolute candy store. So you've also you've been published in the National Contest Journal as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I've been fortunate to be writing that. Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, he has a youth column, so he's invited me on several occasions to write, and I have written about my experiences while I was at TIMS for the Youth DX Adventure. And then in the next edition, I'm pretty sure I'll have another article coming out.
Oh, very good. Amanda, what say you about all this activity?
First, I was still just struck by all of her badges at the top. Look at everything she's accomplished. My gosh. I have half of that maybe on my QRZ page. I can't even read them all. But do you do other things? Do you have time for anything other than ham radio, Grace?
So, yeah, amateur radio was kind of my main hobby. As I mentioned before, I was a big part of Unified Sports, so that took a good part of my extracurricular. But not really too much else, but amateur radio. There's always something you could be doing. There could be a satellite pass, hop on, work some DX. There's always something to do.
Absolutely. So now you're established in amateur radio. What's your future looking like for you? What do you plan on doing?
Yeah, so I just graduated from high school. I'll be heading off to college. I'll be a freshman at Cedarville University. It's about 30 minutes from the Dara Clubhouse in Cedarville there. And I'll be studying electrical engineering. Amateur radio has played a big role in that. When I started high school, I had no clue what I wanted. There was a lot of things that I'm like, I don't really like that. But I got my license, and I'm like, hey, I like this. And I found out as I took many classes in high school that electrical engineering was something I wanted to go into.
Good for you. Good idea.
It is. It's amazing.
Very
And
good.
have you gotten some scholarships because of amateur radio as well?
Yeah, I've received several scholarships so far, and I'm waiting on still a couple due to some delays in this year.
I hear you. Well, what else do we have? So you're going to be in Huntsville to accept your award. Is that going to be your first time there?
It will be my first time in Huntsville. Yeah.
Great. And Don, what happens in Huntsville with that?
Oh, it's great. It's 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. It'll be August 17th, 2 o'clock local time. We will gather on the main stage, and I'll tell the folks a little bit about Grace, and we'll let Grace talk a little bit and tell them a little bit about herself, and then we may have some fabulous prizes for you, and then the presentation of the plaque. It goes by pretty quick, but the plaque is there, and then we'll take you over to let you talk to Ted Randall over on the big shortwave, and there'll be some photo ops and everything. And I know that you're going to have to probably skedaddle pretty quick too, because you've got to be back at school. It's like you're going to get there Saturday morning and you're going to leave Saturday afternoon, right? I mean, it's going to be a really quick trip.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. I actually have to move into college on the Friday, so we'll be we'll be moving in on Friday, then driving, and then we'll be at Huntsville, and then we have to drive back so I can start.
Wow. Yeah.
People are kind of asking in chat, do you have like some social media pages people can follow some of your journeys? Maybe TikTok?
Yeah. No, I'm not on TikTok. I'm on X and Instagram. So KLG_Grace, I think, is both of them. Yeah.
That's Very good.
So follow her ventures and her endeavors. And I did have another question that I forgot. Oh, no, this is it. Dawn, it's actually for you. What made Grace stick out in her application for Young Ham of the Year, if you can divulge that?
I am not part of the judging committee. Therefore, I have plausible deniability, and that is exactly how I like it. I cannot be bought because I have no information about that. But I do understand that there have been many years to where there have been like two people who have risen head and shoulders above everyone else, and it's almost to the point to where sometimes the actual judging committee chairman is left to make the final decision because nobody can decide because they're just that close. But from what I understand this year, there was one person, and you're looking at her.
Well, congratulations, Grace. We're so proud of you. And the audience here is just overwhelmed.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Randy, go ahead.
All those grids in 3 years is absolutely amazing. And there's people spend years and years to try and get all those grids. What type of operating do you do? Is it portable? Do you have a satellite station at home?
Yeah.
How do you work that many grids that fast?
Yeah, it's kind of been a transition. So when you started out, we had a little small station. It had a rotator, so it wasn't handheld per se. So it was a smaller station right when I started. But as time passed, we've grown. My dad, he's gotten back into amateur satellites. He took a bit of a hiatus when we moved, but now we're both back on. But we currently do have a satellite ground station. So there's a photo of the station on my dad's QRZ page, Kilo 8 Delta Papa. So if you want to look at what we're currently using. But I do enjoy operating portable. I know I had some I've operated from some apple orchards around here when there was a grid I needed to work, and the family decided we needed to go to the apple orchard. So I took my equipment with me. We've operated portable when I was down at Youth on the Air Camp in 2021 and 2022 when we took our road trip to the AMSAT Symposium 2 years ago. So I'm not shy of operating portable either.
That's a true grid chaser when she takes all her equipment everywhere because you never know what's going to pop up.
Heck yeah.
Very good.
That's
Grace,
dedication.
does your college, do they have a ham radio club? Are you going to start one there?
The school does not have a club, but I've been in contact. Well, I've been in contact with the Dane Amateur Radio Association. They've been very generous. There was a member there that gave me a membership. He paid for my membership, so I'm really thankful for that. And I know I'm hoping to drag some of my classmates there as well to be able to experience the DX, and hopefully maybe we'll get a station there as well at my school.
Perfect. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but for the other youth watching or for parents out there that might want to be getting their children involved in ham radio, what do you have to tell them for advice to get them involved?
Yeah, I would first challenge the current amateur radio operators to encourage the youth that are around. Actually, this past weekend during the IARU contest, I invited a fellow youth over to operate. We operated multi-tool low power, so I was able to involve him with that, and now he's getting more into contesting. So if there's a youth in your area, get them involved. But also, don't push your kid. There was no pressure too much from my dad. He let me. I didn't get licensed till my freshman year. I know many parents encourage their kids to get licensed really young, but at some point, like my schoolwork and amateur radio collided, and the concepts were pretty similar, and they were able to build on each other. I'm always feel free to reach out, email, social media. I can try to help in any way I can as well.
Oh, you're the greatest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Grace.
This is why you're the Young Ham of the Year right here. This is exactly why, because you're barely into the hobby. You're already a superstar, and you're giving back, and that's a big part of it. And you see the WA6 ITF license plate behind me. That was Bill Pasternak's. That was on the back of his car. The front one was all chewed up from rocks because, of course, California is a two-plate state. But yeah, he's the one who started the Young Ham of the Year award. Wow, a long time ago. And he is a silent key, but he would be so proud of you because you are exactly the kind of person that he envisioned when he decided to come up with honoring youth and ham radio. You are a perfect example, and I cannot wait to meet you in person and present you the award in Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville Hamfest, Saturday, August 17th, 2 o'clock local time. There on the main stage. We hope to see a ton of people come up and meet you and say hi to you and congratulate you. And we just could not be prouder, Grace. Seriously.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And we'll have a lot of fun with you and your dad at the Hamfest. And I think that's about it, Grace. If you have any closing words or comments, this will be a good time.
Yeah, no, I think my mom will be joining us too. So the three of us will be down there. So I'll be excited to be in Huntsville. I've heard that it's an air-conditioned building, which is a bit different than Dayton. So I know a lot of people will enjoy that.
Yeah, you're going to love it because I think I told you the other day when we did the Skype test, you can park in the hotel, walk across the Sky Bridge, and right there at the Van Braun Center is one great big hall. It's all air-conditioned. Everything's under one roof. You don't even have to leave. You can park your car on, say, Thursday or Friday and not have to touch it until Sunday if you don't want to. It's a great facility. It's a great hotel. It's a great Hamfest venue, and the people are amazing. They call it the world's friendliest Hamfest, and it is. And if you want to know more information about the Huntsville Hamfest, just go to hamfest.org. Also, I've got to thank our corporate sponsors. We could not do this without them. That is Yazoo USA and Radio Waves Antennas and Heil Sound. And we're holding out hope against hope that perhaps CQ Communications can come back because they were one of our original sponsors as well. So our fingers are crossed for the folks at CQ. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but nevertheless, we have Yazoo, we have Radio Waves, and we have Heil Sound, and it's going to be a great time. You're going to love it. You're going to love the Hamfest. I have invited people to the Hamfest, and they come back every year. So it can be kind of an addiction, and hopefully we'll see you there every year as well. So, Grace, that's all I have for you until we see you coming up in a few weeks at Huntsville. Enjoy getting ready for college, and it's going to be a good time. And we're so proud of you. So thank you for being here with us tonight.
Some very sweet comments coming out of the chat room as well. Thank you, Grace.
Yeah, they're loving you. They are loving you. Well, Amanda, you got a tough act to follow, but let's see how you do.
It's not my turn.
And Grace, hang out because if you want to join us back at the end, there may be some chat room comments, and we'd love to have you hang out if you can. So just stick around.
If you can, honey. If not, don't worry about it. But yes, the future is bright with Grace. I agree. It's not my turn. It's Newsline's turn.
Oh, it is Newsline's turn, isn't it? Oh, I almost forgot the whole reason why I'm here. All right, well, here's the news of the week then from Amateur Radio Newsline.
Thank you.
From Amateur Radio Newsline, report number 2437. This is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Our top story is Hurricane Beryl, the powerful and destructive storm that raged in the Caribbean and parts of the southern U.S. states. Hams continue to play a role in emergency communications.
Hurricane Beryl, the second named storm for this year in the Atlantic, is now only a remnant of a storm, but its 8-day impact left a wake of destruction and deaths with 3 different landfalls. After Beryl landed on the Texas coast near Gordo as a Category 1 storm, it created havoc, especially in the city of Houston, Texas, where over 2 million homes and businesses were left without power for more than a day. Bobby Graves, KB5HAV, net manager of the Hurricane WatchNet, told AR Newsline that just because a hurricane finally arrives at a large landmass, that does not mean that we can drop our guard. He went on to say, quote, tropical systems can cause major inland flooding and spin up tornadoes. Remember, Hurricane Ivan in 2004 was responsible for nearly 130 tornadoes from Florida to Pennsylvania, end quote. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Between an eclipse in the spring and then flares and storms a few weeks ago, the sun has been getting a lot of attention lately. Now, the moon is getting its day, at least in Texas.
The Frontiers of Flight Museum in Dallas is once again marking Moon Day on the 20th of July, a date to celebrate the anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission's landing on the moon. According to the schedule of events, the moon will have its day in the sun at last through a variety of presentations. The Dallas Amateur Radio Club will show how hams communicate via EME or moon bounce, and AMSAT ambassadors will be present to demonstrate what radio communication is like through amateur satellites. The keynote speaker will be former NASA astronaut Gregory Johnson, whose experience piloting early space shuttle flights contributed toward the construction of the International Space Station. The 6-hour program is considered the year's largest space-related event in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is Travis Lisk and 3 ILS.
If you spend a bit of time on 6 meters or even 2 meters, the next few weeks should bring you the promise of good things, courtesy of some meteor showers, specifically from the comet Swift-Tuttle.
They're called the Perseids meteor showers, and this year they are dusting the skies with tiny particles, ionizing the E layer of the ionosphere starting in mid-July. That means sometime between July 17th and the 24th of August, you may reap the benefits of meteor scatter. Many hams consider this the biggest moment of the year for meteor scatter, bringing the possibility of VHF contacts that can extend as far as 2,000 kilometers or not quite 1,250 miles for those setting their alarm clocks to rise before dawn. The peak dates for these contacts will come on the 12th and 13th of August. According to the website space.com, this phenomena, enjoyed by so many amateur radio operators, is the legacy of the comet Swift-Tuttle, which has not been close to Earth since 1992. Our planet, however, passes through the debris the comet left behind, and the result are these lively meteor showers. Although there are lots of fans of astrophotography who enjoy capturing brilliant images, we amateurs hope, of course, that all that debris may help us put together some interesting QSOs. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Randy Sly, W4XJ, Travis Lisk, N3ILS, Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. All right. Many thanks to the Newsline folks for helping us put all that together. We've been doing that since, well, you heard, 1976, when Bill Pasternak started that up. We do not have a report from Tamitha Skov tonight. Of course, you need to follow her on X at Tamitha Skov. She has a YouTube channel as well, Tamitha Skov, oddly enough. And then, of course, there's spaceweatherwoman.com to find out the latest for what's going on with the big sun up in the sky. And now our own star, it's Amanda.
No, not the brightest star, not the biggest star, but I'm
yeah,
here.
but you do fine. You do
Thank you.
all right.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Great interview with Grace, by the way. Fantastic
She's
job.
a sweetheart, isn't she?
She is. I usually do Ham It, Can It. By the way, I thought I could just show my photos from 2 weeks ago, but see, every single thing is pretty much outdated and past news. But I am going to talk about some of the things I was going to mention was, yay, LOTW is back up and running, everybody, so we can all be happy about that. And Hurricane Beryl came through and kind of barreled its way through Houston, and they're finally recovering. But thank you to the hams, Aries, and Emergency Communications that did their job down there and helped out when needed. So we appreciate that very much.
My sister and niece survived it just fine.
Oh, good. We were expecting some packages from Houston, and they still have not arrived from over a week ago. So I think they're still figuring some things out.
It's gonna be a while. Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen. Josh has no idea what I'm going to be sharing, so just everyone, it'll be a surprise.
Oh.
I wanted to bring up a discussion because this
brace yourself.
I know this is not that bad.
This time.
This feed keeps showing up in my Facebook feed. So I wanted to talk. Has this shown up anywhere else in anyone else's Facebook Rapid Radios?
No, I haven't
Josh,
seen that.
I'm expecting commentary for you. So I was like, what is this and why? So I went and I looked, and evidently Rapid Radios is some kind of LTE network that supposedly you buy the radio, but you don't pay a monthly fee that you can talk, but you have to have cell phone coverage, and they're acting like this can be end of the world, help you out situations, and I just don't see it working that way.
That's the first thing that goes away is cell phones,
right?
It's push to talk over cellular, POC radio, and it uses the LTE network, which they argue is more robust than some of the higher data modes. So this is a really interesting thing you brought up, Amanda, and I don't know how much I can say about this, but there is a YouTuber who got threatened with legal action for making a video about that company exactly.
Wow.
So yeah, they are incredibly aggressive about anyone talking about them, and so much so that like I made a video about it. They came after me about some of the comments I made. It's pretty interesting, and it was almost not worth it for me to continue to like argue with them.
Pursue if their product actually works or not.
Well, they make some claims. I don't know. You can see their website's pretty deep. There's a lot of different options. In fact, I'll go back to Amanda's page, but there's a lot of different links and claims.
Somewhere?
Jump to one of the claims. They say 100% no monthly fees. Well, ever. That's only for as long as the 1 to 2 year contract exists.
Use anywhere with unlimited range. The only company in the USA to offer nationwide range with no monthly fees. Okay.
And so just so we put that into perspective so they don't get upset, yes, would you buy the radios? And I think it's like $300 to $400
$300 or $400.
Yeah, okay, go to the website to be sure, but it comes with the contract for X number of years, and then after that X number of years you pay for another contract. So it's not broken up monthly, it's broken up over years, and so it's a fee-based system. It's still a fee, it's just baked in on the initial sale is my understanding.
I think you're correct. Yeah. And that's what kind of the way I read it. It's like, oh, they can say that there's no monthly fee, but it's all up front. So, and they have package deals, blah, blah, blah. Now you got me scared about saying anything, but do not recommend for end of times out hunting or out camping where there is no cell phone coverage. Don't rely on this.
I think it's an interesting concept. My question is relying on the cellular backbone. That to me is the limitations, not the hardware that they're selling or the concept. It's just it's the road they're traveling on.
Yeah.
Right. And they do also say something about like encrypted help me out. Like signal
I don't
text
know about
messages.
I don't know about
so
any
I
of
do
that.
believe it's like it's encrypted from person to person or radio to radio. Supposedly. Now, again, read the fine print.
Now,
I don't know.
Keep in mind, this is not new stuff, right? If anybody remembers the old Nextel phones, similar
I loved
concept.
My Nextel.
Yeah,
and it was so
same
cool.
concept. Yeah.
And Icom has POC radios. In fact, I believe if they're still not using it, I think they still are. Orlando Hamcation uses POC radios to do their coordination on the ground, and for them it's great because you can create many talk groups, and that's handy. That's super handy.
Yeah,
you can do the same thing with these radios. It's just about the claims more than anything that I think is a bit of gray area.
I found it really weird that it started popping up in my Facebook feed. So anybody else that saw it, now we're just now you kind of know without having to click on the link yourself. You're welcome. So now that won't show up more on your Facebook stuff.
It's not point to point, right? That's, I think, the big thing to drive home is if Don had a radio and Amanda had a radio and we all had radios, we're all communicating over the air via RF, right?
Correct.
A POC radio is communicating via a network that's a service that you are paying for, whether bundled into the radio or not. It's someone else's radio network that you're connecting to. And that's the reality of it.
Do you have to have a number? Like you have to have a
You
user.
have to coordinate with them.
Yeah.
You have to coordinate for the talk groups.
You can't just call out for help. There's only certain people in your book, basically, that would be hearing you. So that you know that there's other limitations. Next thing I was going to go to was Prime deals on Amazon. There are absolutely no Prime Day deals on Amazon for amateur radio. Just wanted to point that out.
It's whatever you want as long as it's a Chinese radio, likely a Baofeng, right?
I have one more thing. Let me scroll down if there's any here. There was see this little ham radio crib notes. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
1519. All right. Josh, show my camera, please.
Okay. Oh, you got it.
I have something very similar.
Uh-huh.
And I got it from a different site, and it was $5.50.
Oh my goodness! Is that metal or paper? What is it made of?
It's aluminum.
Oh, still that's cool.
Yeah, it's the subliminal printing on there, and it makes it look like it's old and defrayed.
Right.
$5.50 on another website. They're saying this is a Prime Day deal for $15.19. So you're not going to find any deals.
It's 20% off, Amanda.
Wow.
I mean, it was regularly $18.99.
Sign me up.
This is a total tangent, but I gotta tell you this. If you're doing anything off of Amazon, please go to a website called Camel, and it will show you the aggregate pricing of Amazon products over time. And so you can see if you believe that for Prime Day people kick up the numbers just to give a discount, you can actually use that to verify what the best time was or the lowest prices that the product goes for before you make a big, large purchase off of Amazon. Camel.
Interesting.
Yep, very important.
Camel. Interesting.
So Prime Days has nothing for amateur radio unless you're, and even looking at those Baofengs, it didn't look like there was any kind of deal. There's, maybe 2 for $65. I don't know that that's a deal anymore. So, all right, that's all I had tonight. So I can discuss some nets. We have 40 meters on 7192. Thank you, Kevin, KC7FPF, for handling that. 14 Charlie for the D-Star. Paul always does such a wonderful job. Thank you, Paul, for handling that. And Steve, he should be on around 14268. So listen out for the nets, unless he's on a wildfire, which he is occasionally at this time of year. Anything else from the gang of hosts tonight?
Well, I rehung my antenna that fell several weeks ago, so I may try to get on the HF nest for a little bit tonight.
All right.
Still haven't rehung my 160 that dropped, 2 years ago? One of these days I'll rehang
160.
it.
Man, I wish I had the space for that. I do have an antenna I got to be putting up. I'm likely going to do it Friday. I got to go do some maintenance on my VHF, UHF. My UHF started behaving like the tune. The antenna was way longer for some reason. So there's something going on there I got to sort out, because I can't do my ham radio handheld antenna test if I don't have that 70 centimeter working. And then I got a vertical HF from Comet that I'm going to be playing around with that a lot of people are familiar with. So I'm going to give my thoughts on it. And for Amanda, to your point, I just pulled it up. Here is still the best deal on a Baofeng if you're going to find one. Oh, where is it? Wrong one. Hold on. This one. $17.29. Baofeng UV5R. I've bought multiple of these. This is not accurate. I bought like 3 of them this year for giveaways and whatnot. I've tested every one that I've got. They're spectrally clean, and they're $17.29. So,
it's a way for people to get into the hobby. Oh, and I'm going to be going to this Outdoorsman's Days, and it's all about hunting, trapping, fishing, sportsmen. So I was asked to do a demonstration on amateur radio. So I'm really looking forward to that, because Jeff my Jeff, he watches a lot of hunting videos, and they always say, or survival. And they just mention bring a radio with you, and they don't talk anything about it or how it's actually going to help you.
Right.
So I'm actually I get a half an hour like seminar there at the Outdoorsman Days to actually tell them how it can work or how it does work and how they actually need to be licensed, because a lot of the guys kind of leave that out of their instructional videos, is that you might need to be licensed, or they mention GMRS, and it's all a mess. So I'm going to be explaining that away in the middle of August, and I'm looking forward to that. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, make sure you subscribe for Saturday, because Ray Novak's going to be on, and I haven't been able to talk to him on a video or anywhere really other than in person. So it's going to be fun to have another chat with Ray. He's super busy now, so that is no surprise. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But
will he be at Oshkosh at that point?
it is. We'll be talking this Saturday, and he's going to be talking about Oshkosh, because I believe it's all the following week. It's all next week. So he's going to be talking about their station. They always run an amateur radio station there, and he's got his big setup. Are you going to that, Randy? Because you went last year. Did you go last year?
No. Yes, I did go last year, but I'm not going this year. So I hope to work on W9W. Is what you look for, the World War Special Event Station.
Yeah, Icom will be at Huntsville. I'm hoping that Ray will as well.
And I just loaded the meteor scatter dates in my phone, because that's fun on 6 meters to see that, to work that. Bzz.
That's what it sounds like. Well,
so Grace is still in here. I see. Grace, do you fool with meteor scatter at all, or do you like the stuff that's a little bit higher up?
Oh, no, we mess around a bit with 6 meters. My dad's more into 6 meters than I am, so I know he might be taking the radio for that, but maybe we'll see if I can make a few 6 meter contacts too.
One year when I was at Huntsville, this was a long time ago, when the hotel that is there now, actually the hotel was across the street from the hotel that is now, and they tore it down years ago, but it was one of those deals where it had the swimming pool was in the middle, and you had towers on tall buildings all the way around. The swimming pool's in the middle in a courtyard area. And myself and Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB, he had a little Yaesu FT8 17 with one of those little Miracle Whip antennas on it. And we were hearing multi-hop 6 from the West Coast down in that concrete and steel cage. And it was crazy. I don't know that he was able to contact anyone. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago, but we were hearing multi-hop on 6 from the West Coast that night. It was crazy sitting there by the pool, just the coolest thing. So
that is pretty cool.
Yep. So anyway, hopefully we'll have some fun in Huntsville. I know we will. Anyway, that's all I just wanted to ask and see if you fooled around with that a little bit, Grace.
Right on. Well, thanks again, Grace, for being on with us, and you did a fantastic job. Great speaker for us.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
You killed it. So, thank you everybody for watching. We're gonna head out of here, and I think I might actually work on some video stuff for a video posting tomorrow or Friday, as I often am. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and a hearty 73.
I hope you get to bed before 2 a.m.
I've been trying, Randy. Every day I try. See you, everybody.
7-3, everyone.
Good night, everyone.